Okay, hello everybody, welcome. Thank you very much for attending, back by popular demand, our virtual summit. As you know, Device Authority has held this over recent years. We've got some excellent sessions lined up for you in the next 2 days. So hopefully, it's very informative and you enjoy it. The theme really to the next 2 days, and you'll see this come over probably in spades, is about zero trust in the era of AI. And more about that as we kick off. I'm just going to change the layout so you just stay focused on the slides and the content and hear my voice. Hopefully that's okay. I did, just to kick off, wanted to say a big thank you to our partner PTC for sponsoring the event with us. We've been working with PTC and specifically the ThingWorks platform for a number of years as we look to branch out our relationship now, but we've shared several wins together, or design wins, both in the healthcare and industrial market. So again, a big thank you. And I'm also delighted to welcome other, very important partners to us. And one thing that's very apparent in the market we operate is, customers need an ecosystem to work effectively to solve real problems. No single vendor can do it alone. So we're delighted to have Microsoft and Entrust back. A great welcome to CyberArk as well, a new partnership that's evolving with us, and indeed a first for Cumulosity and Digital Catapult, and also Argos, and welcome back VIPC and Crossroads. We've aspired to have a great relationship in the last few years as significant things are going on in North America from VIPC and funded by the Department of Homeland Security. So partnerships is very important to us. So I guess the thing, having come back from RSA, the global cybersecurity event last week, it's been very apparent there, and indeed in the press leading up to it, the significance of AI. I mean, it literally is everywhere, on people's websites, in their key messaging and their positioning. And, in having been involved in a number of sessions last week, it's clearly recognized by the cybersecurity industry, and specifically CISOs, that there is a step change in the technology evolution, including AI. And really you have to think about, well, where is the new boundary of trust for AI? You have to take a step back, think about things differently, and hopefully we'll show some of that in the next couple of days in terms of real execution. And what I would say, it's clearly the very beginning. So there's a long way to go, and I'm sure there'll be significant change. So AI is very prominent, and you probably see this in the press, but just to touch on a few things, even an embedded world this year absolutely dominated the narrative and the conversation, and NVIDIA, has established a clear market leadership position in terms of chip and AI production. Also, if you look at some of the big topics CEOs are talking about, whilst the wars and elections in a number of countries this year are significant factors, AI or associated AI and cyber technology, again, very important topics as people try and figure out how they align to this significant paradigm and technology shift, and how everyone makes the most of it, both from a business opportunity, but also in terms of making sure that you can protect and secure your organizations, against any malicious threats attached to it. And no surprise that recruitment and skills, and there's already a shortage of cyber skills, but generative AI and AI machine learning alongside IoT and cloud are significant groupings of recruitment. So as people look to resource up and invest in the appropriate areas. I think it's worth saying, AI really is almost an overarching umbrella theme. And, you probably see that as a statement from Microsoft when you look at the investments they've made. But if you look at the cybersecurity perspective, cloud security and how it relates to AI, zero trust and how you enable that with the new AI boundary. Identity is still a foundational technology for being able to execute zero trust in an AI environment, and data security, compliance still be a big driver. And more now we hear people referring to, SOC transformations, whether it's MDR or MSP type organizations looking to branch out their service capability to match and be able to manage all the threats. So I see it very much as an overarching umbrella, and I think you'll see that come out in the next couple of days as we talk to the respective vendors. And I touched on the CISOs earlier, and last week I was privileged to meet a number at the event, but also go to a number of panels. And it was really interesting and encouraging from our perspective just to hear how they spoke about the evolving scope of the role. Operational technology, in terms of how factories coming online. And as importantly, IoT sensors, or the R&D areas, also are a significant potential risk, and so they're becoming under their remit. Whereas traditionally, it's always been IT and network security based, and clearly AI security and often data, albeit sometimes there are data security officers that exist in larger organisations that are closely working with CISOs. The breadth and depth of what they have to do is one, challenging, very broad and cumbersome, so they need help. And when you look at still, the biggest industry or the biggest sector that has any targeted attacks is manufacturing. But 75% of data breaches involve human error. So with the advance of AI and the future technologies that's going to bring, and the speed of execution and the breadth it's going to give, automation or further automation is going to be required to try and remove and reduce some of those human error breaches. And 55% of attacks still remain around compromised credentials. And I think it's interesting, you look at that stat, because most hackers don't break in, or they actually log in. And I think that's a really important, subtle way of putting it. And that's really down to poor management of credentials over a long period of time through the life cycle journey, and involving too many human errors. And we see that time and time. And, these breaches are expensive and take time to resolve. And I thought I would just play a bit. And, ChatGPT is clearly aligned to the AI industry, but it isn't AI, as some people say to me. But it's very, a great tool. And I thought I'd put this in and just share. It's not to read it more and anything, but, you put a few words in, and this is what you get back: a very comprehensive description of the things you need to think about. Many of these things highlighted there in bold that on CISO's agenda or security operations agenda, and it really talks about how a new mindset is required. Never trust, always verify. That's the definition of zero trust, and that's even more so and paramount in the era of AI. So I just wanted to flick through those rather than just bear with me. And so then moving on, I guess, if identities remains and becomes even more paramount as foundational technology for device security and zero trust at scale, you overarch the AI and you think, well, who are going to use, AI fundamentally provides insights, new data, new business models, but it also provides people, or the bad guys, with tools to accelerate threats. And I guess also to give the good guys tools to also rebound, rebuff those threats. But when you look at the industries, and you'll see from some of the sessions, you've got connected operations, so factories coming online where there's significant critical infrastructure and new challenges, frankly, and some of them very IP and brand related that, and if a factory went down because of a compromise, it's a huge cost. And then you've got new products and new markets as you see more devices connecting, in the connected or Internet of Things world. And I think if you take a step back and you say, well, for years people have been dealing with human identities and they've been dealing with machine identities, but now again, CISOs or their teams have got the whole remit of how you look beyond the traditional firewall and you look at these multiple devices that are typically outside of the firewall, connected some form to the internet or over 5G in remote locations, doing very important things, gathering data that needs to be trusted. Much of it is valued and clearly feeds these massive AI logarithms as well, which people will be using for business transformations or decisions. So managing identities across that whole spectrum, is an important piece. And I think the thing you need to then think about in terms of the challenge of AIoT and the delivery chain is a couple of big factors. Firstly, if you look at AI and machine learning, as you aggregate that data, typically there's an implicit trust, a connection between the data and the use of those the algorithms that use that data. But trust needs to go well beyond that, because you've got significant devices and things that are out effectively generating that data. So how can the various AI engines trust the data that's coming from those devices? Very important thing to consider and factor. So really building out an AI trust chain. So looking at where does the boundary of AI really place people? And again, we have a number of conversations with people who are thinking about that, because I think it's really important that you need to be able to trust the data, and you need to be able to trust the device in an ever-changing landscape, with AI providing significantly new threat landscape, but also business opportunities. So it's a big thing to think about. So by way, I guess, wrapping up my introduction, I thought I'd just set the scene, but I guess, and you'll see it come out in the era of AIT and zero trust, as we talk about in the next couple of days, but never has it been more true that if you can't trust the device, you can't trust the data. And really, identities is a foundation of that. Data is a foundation of AI and machine learning, and everyone is talking about it, and AI is everywhere. So hopefully that gives you a good intro and a good thread into the day, and hopefully you'll enjoy the next couple of sessions. I do have the opportunity very quickly to look at questions. So I'll pause for 1 or 2 minutes, for 1 or 2 seconds. I've rattled through my piece. So we look forward to working you on the next 2 days. Good luck to everybody, and thank you again to PTC and our partners for supporting us, and hope you all enjoy the next 2 days. Thank you.